So, now I know what some of y'all are saying. He's back in the kitchen. He's about to get on this red pill soapbox once again. I am not. But I am back in the kitchen for a very specific reason, right? Now, I used to love making videos right here. You know, minus the echo from this room that I can't stand. I used to love sitting here because I could look out of the window, right? I could look at the birds fly. You know, I could look at the sky and get lost, you know, in my thoughts while I was making a video. I could look at the grass and I could observe many things outside, you know, of beauty while putting content together. You know, but one of the main things that I enjoyed observing while I was sitting here, man, is this tree in my backyard. A tree that stands about, I'll say about 15 feet tall, right? Now the thing is, over the last year and a half, give or take, man, this tree has died. You know, I did so many things to try to resurrect it. I gave it extra water. I tried to put a little, you know, little juice, little fertilizer. It would never come back, man. I give it about a year or so. It's dead. And the thing that I ask myself is, why is this tree still standing, brothers? You know, because if you look around my home, man, if you go around to the front yard, you know, I keep my grass cut, trimmed, weed-eated bushes trimmed, flower bed tight. Shout out to Marie for hooking that up last summer. She did a bang-up job on orchestrating that whole thing. You know, if you come in the house, I keep my house clean. I'm sweeping and mopping twice a week. I'm vacuuming. Sometimes you don't even think somebody lives here, right? I try to keep it tight, but for some reason, I got this dead tree in my backyard, you know, that I've just failed to cut down, man. And I ask myself, why? Like, why have I allowed this thing to stand, right? And then I started thinking about, you know, something that I say all the time, right? I say that, you know, of course, in my mind, every single thing that takes place in my life, in my world, you know, regardless of how minute it is because I created that. You know, I put it there for a reason. And I always use the example, I say, if a bird lands on my windowsill, then I created that. I put that there to represent something in my life, or I put that there, you know, to shift my mood, to, you know, for me to create something different. And if I say that's my truth, then I can't say that you know, this dead tree doesn't symbolize that. You know, I have to understand that this dead tree represents something in my life. You know what I'm saying? That apparently I'm unaware of. And then I started thinking about my path, right? And I started thinking about all the things that distract me from my path. You know, and this is the thing, man. Like, a lot of people can get on this internet, like the old schoolers said. A lot of people can get on this internet, man, and act as if they're holier than thou. Can act as if they're, you know, they're perfect in whatever they're talking about. And I can tell you this, man. Like I'm not one of those guys. You know, for y'all that are in the power circle, when we can chop amongst brothers and exchange our life experiences. Y'all brothers know, you know, that soul is the furthest thing from perfection. You know, I still have my demons. You know, I still have my vices. I still have my vulnerabilities. I still have my weaknesses. You know, and I'm trying to identify at this point in my life, or I was this morning, like what this tree represents in my life, right? Because, you know, like you can drive by the front of my house, man, and you can say, oh, okay, well this home has, you know, a certain level of curb appeal. You know, the brick is a certain color, you know, the flower bed is tight, everything is trimmed and right. But if you come around to the backyard, you say, dang, well, what in the hell? You know, you say, why in the world is this deceased piece of timber still standing erect amongst this house? You know what I'm saying? And I've came to the conclusion this morning, brothers, after just sitting here in this spot for about an hour trying to make sense of this tree. I've come to the conclusion that it's just a time in my life to cut this tree down. But before I cut it down, man, I wanted to sit here and really and absorb the energy behind it, man, and what it represents. So when I say it's time for me to cut this tree down, you got to understand that when I go out here and cut this thing down, there's going to be a lot of things going through my mind, right? And what I'm saying, brothers, is it's time for us all to cut the trees down in our life. You know what I'm saying? And what that means is, it's time for us to, identify our weaknesses. If a lot of you brothers are, if you're into, excessive drugs or excessive alcohol, it's time to identify these things that are keeping us off the path. And it's time to, finally cut these things down. Stop going to the bar so much. Stop going to the strip club, so much if those are your vices. If hanging around in the wrong circles is the dead tree in your life, man, stop hanging around old circles of friends. I was just talking about yesterday, or whenever I made the last video, talking about the friends in my life. Every partner that I grew up in, grew up with around my neighborhood, they're still my day ones. But for some reason, me and them brothers don't talk anymore. Maybe we don't have anything to talk about. So I look at anybody that's once been in my life, even though I still have love, it's man, the people that no longer serve us, it's time to get them out of our life. It's time to cut those old trees down, because I'm telling you, if you still try to entertain those dead things in your life, brother, it's going to have you astray. It's going to have you taking a step or two off the path. It's time to cut all of those trees down, man. It's time to cut down the trees of some of y'all's career path. Some of y'all have been in certain careers that is robbing you of your spirit, that is robbing you of your love for life. You want to do something else. A lot of y'all sisters been working corporate jobs, and you really want to get into doing hair. You really want to get into doing nails. You really want to get into making women beautiful. You really want to get into public speaking. A lot of y'all brothers want to get out and start your own trucking companies. You want to get from behind the cubicle. It's time to cut those trees down, brother. It's time to cut them down, because they're keeping you off the path. And I guarantee, man, if you look around your life close enough, I guarantee it, you'll see something in your life, in your vibrant life. You'll see something in your life, man, that still shows a symbol of death. That still shows a symbol of something that you no longer need, that's still representing the lower vibrational parts of you, man. It's there for a reason, man. And I'm telling you, it's time to cut it down, man. I went out to Lowe's this morning and spent me a whole $22 and I believe 79 cents on this Irwin soft. Nice paint finish. I probably only use it once, right? To cut this thing down, man. And why I'm cutting this thing down this afternoon, man, I'm gonna be focusing on myself. I'm going to be focusing on all the negative aspects of my life, man, regardless of how minute. And I'm going to at least internally be getting rid of those things as I'm cutting this thing down, man, because this is what I do, man. It's easy for us to look at negative aspects of our life and say, you know what, and point the finger. You know what, this happened because, I dealt with this person, or my job did this. I'm telling you, man, once you get to the point where, regardless of what negative happens in your life, you take ownership of it, brother, you talking about powerful. You talking about powerful. I'm telling you, man, every single thing in my life, I try to find ways to take ownership of it. If I go out of town and I come back and my house is empty, no furniture, no television, no nothing, I'm going to try my hardest to find out how it's my fault. Because once I get that ownership, now I have power, man. That's where my power is. I take ownership of the good and the bad, man. That's where my power is, man. But again, this tree represents my weak link. This tree represents the small thoughts in the back of my mind that still have the ability to take me off my square, man. So it's time to cut the trees down, brothers. It's time to cut the trees down.